Do you know of the story of the SS St. Louis? This was the ship that was turned away from Cuba. It was then turned away from America and sent back to Europe. But do you understand the historical significance of that? Well, that was the moment in time that the Germans got the message very clear. Hitler got that message that the Jews are expendable. We can do what we want with them because no country wants them. Herbert Carline, one of the passengers, came into my office. The first thing he said to me is, "Howard, do you understand, we were 2 miles off the coast of Miami Beach. I saw the palm trees right over where the Eden Rock was. And then the Coast Guard cutter came, fired a shot, turned our ship around, and then followed us out to sea to make sure that nobody jumped overboard to try to swim to a safe haven." December 13th, the National Foundation for Jewish Continuity hosted the 70th anniversary of the passengers of the SS St. Louis. About 33 surviving passengers, which is almost 50% that are alive today.
When the Kristallnacht, my father was taken to Buchenwald concentration camp, and the only way to get him out, we have to show that we're going to leave Germany in the next 3 months or so. Since we had an American quota, but we had to wait for a long time, the only way we got some permits to go to China. So my mother bought some permits to go to China. My father came out from the concentration camp. I didn't recognize him when he came out.
We had a huge printing company in Munich. And my father, by this time, had decided that he was going to have to move his family to another country because of the extreme persecution that we were undergoing. And so he smuggled money out, and they found out about it, the Gestapo did. So they arrested my mother and held her hostage. The death sentence would be imposed for smuggling money out, and that's exactly what they did.
We found out that a Cuban consul in Hamburg, Germany, selling permits to go to Cuba. And since we want to come to the United States, we decided to buy some permits to Cuba.
She found out that there was a ship leaving Hamburg in May of '39.
And the German government gave the permission to the Hapag to have the Luxorliner St. Louis to take the refugees to Cuba. That's the way we came to the ship.
What was it like when you were on the ship?
Well, on the ship, for us children, it was fantastic.
And I celebrated my 8th birthday in Havana Harbor when we couldn't get off.
We stayed in the port for 8 days, hoping to get off the ship. And we heard rumors that the government wanted some more money.
And then all of a sudden the ship moved out into the inner harbor, and nobody got off.
The gentleman who was a lawyer from Germany, and he was in Buchenwald, in the concentration camp too. And I remember it well because I was on deck. He cut his vein, jumped overboard, and the German sailor saved him, and they took him to the hospital. But his wife and his 2 children were not allowed to go off.
And we knew full well that if we were shipped back to Europe, it would be the death of all of us.
We sent a telegram to President Roosevelt, we got an answer. We sent a telegram to Mrs. Roosevelt to let the children off the ship. Again, we didn't get no answer.
The ship took off and we went to Miami and to Fort Lauderdale, only to have the Coast Guard drive us off into international waters. And at that time I was thinking, you know, there's something strange here. I mean, here I was an 8-year-old kid, and I thought to myself, why can't we get off? Is it because we're Jewish? The whole world is against the Jews?
We didn't have much more food and water on the ship, and the captain had to turn around and go back to Germany. And we had a lot of problems on the ship because some people didn't want to go back to Germany. I found out after the war that about 300 people said, before we go to Germany, we're gonna jump overboard. We don't gonna go back to Germany. And the captain promised them that in case he has to go back to Germany, he will scuttle the ship in the coast of England, and somebody has to help you get off the ship.
The captain of the ship, Gustav Schröder, is a righteous Gentile. And he knew that if we went back to Germany, that would be the end. And so he decided that he would take us to Antwerp, Belgium.
There was France, Belgium, Holland, and England. And we were divided 250 here and towards some. And my parents and the whole family came to France.
We were slated to go to England.
That my husband belonged to quite a few military groups. And we were in the Capitol building, and we were in the elevator, and Herb Kohl got on the elevator, and I recognized him. I said, "Hi Herb, you know, I worked for you many years ago in Milwaukee." And I said, "We're coming in the summer," and he said, "Well, let me know, and I will send you tickets to things and invite you to my breakfast." And went for breakfast, and when he came to me, I said, "You know, my husband is a survivor of the St. Louis, the ship that nobody wanted in 1939. And so he said, "Oh," so he went to talk to my husband, and a couple months later he called and said, "It's been approved by the Senate 100%. We met on June 6th, and he presented my husband with this resolution. And that's what we have here today.
Welcome to the 70th anniversary commemorating the sailing of the SS St. Louis.
On behalf of the city of Miami Beach, I'm going to read a little. In May 1939, 938 Jewish refugees left Hamburg, Germany, aboard the SS St. Louis to escape Nazi persecution. So we thought that it was fitting that we officially welcome you to Miami Beach, something that should have happened many, many years ago. And we are proclaiming today the SS St. Louis Commemoration Day in the city of Miami Beach.
Jewish institutions have gathered from around the world to accept a piece of history that may be the beginning of America, recognizing the possible consequence of their actions, or may I say inactions, dating back to the Roosevelt administration. As one passenger stated yesterday, some of us may have found a way to forgive, but we will never forget. Thank you for your courage,